Welcome to another episode of 5 Minutes with Mike. I am your host, Michael Beckford, and I just want to take a couple seconds of silence for the family of Mr. Cyrus Belton. This is a sad time in the traumatic history of America, specifically for Black Americans. I'll get to it in a minute. This is 5 Minutes with Mike. Our news, our voice, our issues. Believe that. Alright guys, welcome to an episode of 5 Minutes of Mike. I am your host, Michael Beckford, and today's topic is Trayvon Martin 2.0. You have an individual by the name of Rick Chow, an Asian store owner of a grocery store, who hunted down and with his son, hunted down and unalived a frightened 14-year-old boy, Cyrus Belton. And unfortunately in South Carolina, in racist South Carolina, the jury found Mr. Chow, this Asian store owner, not guilty. And of course, the Black community is beyond outraged by this. This story has picked up on a nationwide level. I remember hearing about this a couple years ago when it happened back in 2024, and it was obviously very tragic then. And now the time has come where, Mr. Chow was in jail, and, the jury deliberated, and they found this piece of crap of an owner who, by the way, has had a history of discharging his firearm at individuals in the past. A history of it. Here they found this individual, this Asian store owner, not guilty. I, for one, I'm heartbroken, man. I was saddened by the results, but I'm not surprised. I'm not surprised because we live in America. We live in America. Amerikka. That's where we live. We as Blacks. And it's a place for us as Blacks where we know all too well the dissatisfaction of laws that were meant to hurt us, i.e., the induction of slavery, and laws that were meant to bring us down, destroy our wealth, destroy our properties, destroy our citizens. Redlining comes to mind. Black businesses being burnt down comes to mind. All these things. So here in America, we as Blacks have tried our darnest, our best to come up in a society that generally has hated us for hundreds of years. Just because Becky and Karen smiles at you don't mean they effing like you. They don't. And listen, we know this. We know this. Like, we don't have to. We know this. We as Blacks have to code switch, because there is no other group, racial epithet or group in America that actually F's with us. That black and brown ish, like, oh yeah, we're fighting for the black and brown. That goes out the window, because I haven't seen any other race actually as outraged as we are in regards to this. And when we see things like our voting rights being dismantled by the Supreme Court recently, I talked about that. When we continue to see situations of a Trayvon Martin 2.0, where a young black boy, in this case, Mr. Cyrus, was just going about his business, was in a grocery store, convenience store, picked up a couple water bottles. First of all, he was in the store getting watched like a hawk by one of the store employees at this particular gas station. How many of us had this happen? I have it happen to me almost every other time I go to a gas station. I'm getting watched by, whether it's an Asian individual that owns it or Arab, whatever. I'm getting, watched very hard. You know what I'm saying? And so you have these businesses that are primarily owned by foreigners or individuals of foreign descent, I should say, that are propped up directly in the black community. Not only are these businesses models of suppression, because essentially our black businesses have gotten kicked out, or it's much more harder for us to get loans and the resources that these other individuals are able to get from the government. But we're often treated like shit, excuse my language, by the very people which we are putting our black dollars to, that do not support our own individual communities. I've been saying this for years. You got all these particular businesses that are not owned by us, that they don't give a damn, they don't give a F about us. And so you have a situation that happens to a young man that gets unalived over some water bottles. So let's rewind here. Even if Mr. Cyrus was to have stolen water bottles that at most may have costed $1.70 each, at most, at minimum, maybe about $1. So $4, you mean to tell me, is enough to take a young black life from this earth? Are we sick? Are you that sick? What? So we have a bill that was passed by Congress some years ago called basically known as the Anti-Asian Hate Bill. But we as blacks who have been dealing with hate for centuries in this freaking country can't even get as much as a similar bill as this. Where they do that at? There was nothing but hate that could have been in the heart of this individual, allegedly, because I don't know the heart of Mr. Chow and his son, that chased down this 14-year-old boy that day over a fucking water bottle, dude. Water bottle. See, I don't like seeing these type of stories. I don't like watching slavery movies. I don't like hardly watching too much Black History movies, at least that's done by those that are not for us. But either way, I don't like watching them because they seriously make me upset. They seriously get my blood boiling. They seriously raise my heart rate. They seriously put up my blood pressure. I don't like watching these things because imagine you are watching someone that looks like you being slaughtered in the streets. Someone that looks like you being unjustly profiled and unalived. And then to add a cherry on top, to get no true justice at all. How about that? America. Amerikka. America. And this story is so similar to Trayvon Martin. Trayvon Martin was going about his mother effing business in Florida. And he was gunned down by a lunatic. A freaking lunatic. And over what, a bag of Skittles we're talking about here? Guys. We got Tamir Rice. Another, you know what I'm saying? There's too many black boys and girls in some cases that are profiled by vigilantes, profiled by cops, and are unalive for the most trivial things. Because even in the case of Mr. Cyrus, Rick Chow, the adult that did this, not only is now he get to go home in his comfortable bed and sleep at night, my boy Cyrus will never wake up ever again. Not on this earth. Never wake up ever again. For what? Now, as they always do when it comes down to the prosecution and other things, they say, oh, but he had a gun. Talking about 14-year-old Cyrus. He had a gun on him. Why did he have a gun? Well, I remember there was this white boy that had a gun that went to a BLM rally that shouldn't have had a gun illegally. I remember that. And he had a gun that was much bigger than apparently, allegedly, than what Cyrus had on him. And I remember this boy, he was able to walk away scot-free with tears. And this dude unalived 3 people. And he carried an illegal weapon. And he was underage. What are we talking about here? What we're talking about is an unequal system. What we're talking about is a system of prejudice against a people just based upon their color of their skin. What we're talking about here is individuals targeting people that look like me, myself included, being targeted by others. What we're talking about here are individuals that are in this country only because of the fact that it was black Americans that took the heat from what the U.S. government has done to us, that then opened up the floodgates for individuals to come in from India, from Asian type of countries, to then prop their businesses in our communities, businesses that were wiped out, that we had strong businesses, whether it was barbecue joints, pharmacies, obviously nail salons, all these places, we still got some, but all these places that were strong places in the black community were wiped out because of the systematic racism, oppression, and other things by our own U.S. government. And so they allowed these individuals like the Chows and other to come in and reign terror in our own communities, our black communities. And what's happened? You get a Rick Chow to unalive one of our boys because they believe their $4, their $4 freaking dollars, was worth more than the life of this child. And as I conclude this, I want to talk more about the quote unquote gun that they said that the boy had. So freaking what? Do I condone this? No. But here's why I say so freaking what. He ran away knowing he had a gun on him, right? You have a gun on you and he ran away, meaning he didn't want no smoke. He didn't want no problems. So you all went and hunted him down. Chow and his father went and hunted him down and made a claim, although witnesses said that this was not correct, made a claim that Cyrus pointed the gun at you. So, and this was the reason that you unalived him from the back. He was shot from the back and the bullet pierced his heart. Make that make sense. How can you point a gun at someone when you're getting shot at the back? Make that make sense. Well, ladies and gentlemen, it doesn't make sense. It does not make sense. Because every day we have a child or someone of that relation that is hawking, that is watching like a hawk. Every kid that goes in the store. Now, listen, I'm not saying that you shouldn't protect your business. I'm not saying that you want somebody coming in and stealing something. But I don't care if he stole $100 worth of stuff from out of that store and ran out the store. It don't matter. These people got insurance, first and foremost. And what's $100 to a life? What's $100 to a life? Anyway, guys, I'm upset. I'm sure many of you guys that are upset. YouTube is probably most likely going to censor this video. Unfortunately, I've noticed any content that deals with things that are dealing with the atrocities of the black community, things of that nature, they get censored. Unfortunately, they get censored. So for those that are able to listen, please watch, share, and comment, and let everybody know this ain't right. Have a blessed day. All out of credit once approved for a room near you. Locations and restrictions apply. Hit the link below and get approved for your next room. Now, do you have a vacant home that's been listed on the market forever? Make money from your home today using Padsplit. Earn passive income and make it a Padsplit home today. Link in the description below.